What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Watching Paint Dry here on Another Letdown. My name is Zach from Another Letdown Media and the This Is Difficult video game podcast. I'll be one of your hosts this evening. Watching Paint Dry is the show where we hang out at the end of a long week, I guess Saturday's the end of the long week. I'm losing my mind. And work through the ridiculous backlog of miniatures that we've accumulated over the years that require painting. There's an old adage that says if a miniatures painter ever runs out of painting projects to work on, he or she will perish, so we're just trying to stave off death for as long as possible. And I don't do this alone. Joining me on the line, my good friend, my perennial painting partner, it's Broody Gambit. How's it going, Mike?
It's going great. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's good to be back. We had to take last week off due to some unforeseen family circumstances on my end. I did not expect that my mother's intention was for us to put the baby down to bed and then watch a movie and then pick her up and go home. That seemed a little silly to me, but that is what ended up happening. So we're fine. We took a week off and we're back. No Chamali this week. He's back at work, so he'll be off for a little while, but we will get him back as soon as possible, as we will with Adam. I've been talking to a particular Bonzi buddy friend of ours who might join the fray at some point here and there. So some fun, exciting stuff coming to the channel. Speaking of fun and exciting stuff, you can see it right off in the corner here. I got new paints. And we're going to talk about those in just a minute. As with all the shows that we host on the Another Letdown Media channel, as well as the This Is Difficult podcast network at large, we believe in civil rights for absolutely everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively working against that goal are not welcome and will not be tolerated. Let's paint. There's two of us. There's the button. We're off to the races. So how are you?
I'm good.
Me too. It's been a long week.
Yeah, for me, it's not been that bad. So.
Well, that's good. I wouldn't say that it's been a bad week, just a long one.
Mm-hmm.
It seems as though my students have decided that it's a full moon before it actually is. So that's been a little strange. But here we are. That's now too loud. What the heck have I done? I guess that's fine. Sorry, I'm monkeying with the volume on the music here. Hopefully it's
not a problem.
Too bad. Where was I? I was working on Elektra, and I was talking about my new paints. They're finally here. It took forever, but courtesy of our friend Jacqueline, I picked these up at Gen Con, and I'm very excited about them because they are one-to-one analogous with GW paints. In fact, I believe they were designed by a former GW employee. So as I was unboxing them, I bought the whole Disaster collection. It's like 70-something paints. And I'm like, oh, this is actually going to be really easy to transition from one to the other. So I actually have some semblance of a, breakdown in terms of what I'll be paint, or what types of paints I'll be using for what thing. And that brings me to what I've decided. So that my decision was, so I investigated a lot of different paint systems when I was at Gen Con. I didn't necessarily sit down and try them all, but I was watching people work with them, and obviously my whole painting experience has been with Citadel, with the exception of the Green Stuff World stuff that I've picked up lately. The technical stuff, the color shift and whatnot, the Fluor, which I've really liked. But the problem with Green Stuff World is it takes forever to get into the country. They're a Spanish company, and yeah, it just you end up waiting forever. So I was looking for something that is, if not domestic, then domestically available. And there were a couple of different options. Most of them were pretty insanely expensive. So I wasn't super happy. And then I saw this one guy working at a booth that sold tabletop combat paints, TT Combat. And I got into a conversation with him, and he wasn't pushy. Like, he wasn't being a salesman. He was just being a fan. And I'm like, okay, I respect this, and I can have a reasonable conversation with you as you work with these paints. And I can ask questions and have them answered honestly. And he was like, yeah, I don't exclusively use this this system. Like, it's one of several that I use. And I'm like, okay, tell me more. And he goes, yeah. I use, tabletop combat for like most of my basing and or like base coat base coat layer coat stuff. The bog standard. But then, like, if I'm doing any contrast paint work or quick paint work, I'm going to use the Army Painter stuff because it's just better. And if I'm doing any technical stuff, I use something else that I'd never heard of. And I was like, fine. So what I've distilled out of that was I'm going to use tabletop combat primarily, transitioning directly from GW because, like I said, it's 1-to-1 comparative. And I will use Green Stuff World Technicals for any like wildly specific stuff that I need to do, and Army Painter quick paints, fast paints, speed paints. I think that's just going to be the way of things for a while. Now, I'm still using Citadel right now because I started with Citadel on Elektra. I'm going to finish that. That's not to say that I couldn't transition immediately over into the tabletop combat stuff, but figure let's finish what we started here. But it was really nice to see, pretty wildly specific GW paints recreated in this new format. So.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in dropper bottles, which is like the biggest upgrade for me.
Yeah, that's a huge upgrade.
Meaning I can make less of a mess and have exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. Like, get exactly out of it what I'm trying to accomplish. Hey, RPD. Imagine actually finishing things. I know, right? It's crazy. So I did start playing at your suggestion, Broody. I started playing Gotham Knights on stream this week.
Mm-hmm.
And
I saw that.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed. Like, it was incredibly frustrating when it was like, you need to capture and interrogate one random dude, and I accidentally killed that dude. And then had to wait forever for another one to respawn.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge nuisance, and I actually killed the stream because of it. I was like, I need to like investigate and invest, some time into learning this system because something's not adding up here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be a miserable stream experience if this keeps up this way. Turns out I missed a mechanic.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you can identify the informant ahead of time. And it's entirely down to stream brain. Like, when you're trying to be entertaining and play a game at the same time, you often miss details. Like, that's just a concession you make. Unless you're insanely good at the game already.
Yeah.
Which, being that it's a relatively new game, that level of skill doesn't really... I mean, I'm sure it exists, but it certainly doesn't exist in me. But I like the fluidity of how Nightwing handles. He does feel like an acrobat, which is something I was worried about. I haven't tried any of the other characters. I don't really see a need to. And I guess that just makes me a blatant parody of myself, but we already knew that. The fast travel system is solid. just moving, just getting back to the Belfry really quick. I don't. It almost feels like when it breaks it down into like, oh, this is patrol day 1, patrol day 2. It almost feels like the game is trying to punish you for taking time on things. Which I didn't love.
It doesn't really affect anything.
And I realized that a little while into the show. I was like, this is not actually that important. RPD points out that my lack of disappointment in the game does make it so that we don't have a classic Zack and Broody discussion here. It's mostly just us agreeing for once. Like, it's not the most outstanding game in the world, but I also don't think it has to be. It's an entertaining experience.
Yeah.
And I was sad that I didn't get to stream it last night, but dinner took way too long to make. It took me like an hour and a half to make a HelloFresh meal last night, and I was really kind of cranky about it.
That's impressive.
Well, there may have been adult beverages involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
And general laziness. It was so HelloFresh has started doing these things. Not a sponsor, by the way, because I know they're sponsoring like everyone and his mother these days. They've started doing like family style meals to give you to intentionally give you leftovers, and I like that a lot because it saves us money, if not space, in the fridge. But they do take an insanely long amount of time by comparison to the other HelloFresh meals.
Yeah, I used to use HelloFresh, but I stopped using them when I needed to start making more food.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, my time with them is certainly limited, but like when we're both working late and stuff, it's very convenient. It's also easy to make once the baby's gone down.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm kind of cranky about a comic book related thing.
Okay.
So, New Hampshire Comic, or Granite State Comic Con was last week. It's run by a comic store that I historically do not have good ties with. Which is strange considering that most of the comic book stores in the state of New Hampshire I'm on very good terms with, and we get along great. So this is kind of the one exception, and so I don't tend to go to it. Mostly because it's also on the other end of the state, and I just can't be bothered to drive that far. But I found out Sunday morning that Peter Laird showed up and was doing the signing, and I was like, "Oh, really?" Like the biggest reason that I didn't go this year was because Kevin Eastman canceled. And I was like, "Oh, man," because I wanted to get my Turtles #1 signed, obviously. And yeah, that's not going to happen. But Eastman said he'd be there next year, so at least I'll get his. If I'm not on baby duty, which was also the case last week. Wow, I love the red on red, leaving a little bit of black in this is doing. I'm really happy with it.
Sorry, what?
Oh, I'm happy with how the red is looking on Elektra. It let me go that tiny bit heavy, which I usually like to do. Oh, yeah. RPD is being referential to my last stream. But I will say it's nice to be playing, just backtracking a little, it's nice to be playing a superhero game again, after Mass Effect and Chrono Trigger and Sherlock Holmes. Definitely the right way to get myself ready for Spider-Man.
So how far did you get in the story?
Not very. Yeah, really not very. Honestly, I don't really have that much clue of what's going on. Like, I'm not really paying that close attention to it, which is probably to my detriment, but I'm mostly just using it as an excuse to talk about comics. Much as Sherlock Holmes was an excuse to talk about books. I just finished the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I'm now on to the Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes for like the third time. It's nice to unwind at the end of it. Like, I was telling my brother last week, I try really hard to, like, get a bunch of things done during... Like, I have a couple of hours a week that... where after my wife has gone to bed and obviously the baby's asleep, that I can do Zach stuff. 3 nights a week, I'm streaming. And so that is that. But then I also try really hard to do one TV night, one video games night, just like off stream, and at least one, if not 2, reading nights. If there is an extra day in there, which sometimes there is, I try to go to bed early.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really nice to have a book that I want to read every night. And so my one night a week of reading has become about a half an hour of reading before bed every night. Because it also helps my brain shut off, which is quite nice.
That is a good routine.
Right? And it's so fun to, like, put down the book and be like, man, that adventure on Baker Street was just so much fun. Now I can go to bed happy, and quite often I will end up dreaming about the London in the 1800s, if not Sherlock Holmes directly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the seeds of Inception, you know. And I've got my Sherlock Holmes audiobooks too that I listen to that are a little bit different. The new volume of the Cthulhu Case Files comes out October 20th. Cannot wait. Very excited about that. It is 17 hours long.
It's a lot.
Yeah, making it far and away the longest Cthulhu Case Books installment. I'm genuinely very excited. And RPD is on 21 of 33 builds for his Dead by Daylight villain crew cast something or other in the Sentinel Comics RPG. Well done, RPD. Proud of you. Crashing through it. Alright. What I want to do for her flesh here is we are going to look at... Actually, I might end up busting out one of these... These new ones. So that's... Nope, not quite. Rogues Gallery. Yeah, that is the term I'm looking for. Thank you, RPD. Oh, dang, these dropper bottles are nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, narrow dropper. So just as a point of comparison, like, this is like a more conventional dropper bottle. The tabletop combat dropper bottles are much more precise. I like that a lot. It's cool. Ooh, whoops. So I'm adding a little bit of Venetian tan to Acadian flesh because Elektra being Hispanic.
I thought she was Greek.
Oh, that's true. She is. You're right. Nachos. Duh. She's portrayed often by Hispanic actors, but that's not true either. She's Jennifer Garner and Elodie Young. So I'm just completely off my rocker then. So my students somehow managed to scam the town they live in.
Yeah.
This week. They had a raffle for, well, to raise money for their 8th grade class trip, which I'll be talking about a lot over the next few months. In fact, our next Arkham game is going to support that directly. And we didn't really have enough donations of cool stuff to give away, so we just grabbed yard sale junk and made lots out of it.
Mm-hmm.
They made $330 something $380 something, almost $400.
Nice.
It was pretty impressive. There's a YouTuber, or I guess TikToker, who cross-posts to YouTube, called, his handle is 1980s Gamer. He's come up with this like sort of universe of characters that all played by himself. And he's got this scam artist called Stu. And I turned to one of the kids. What?
Continue, please.
And I turned to one of my students at one point who knows his videos, and I was like, I feel like Stu. And he goes, yeah, no, I feel exactly the same way. We are just scamming the town. And it was funny. Good night, though. Now they're cold calling local businesses for donations for another raffle. And they actually did pretty well last night or yesterday afternoon. Got some pretty cool donations. Home Depot pitched in. That was
cool.
That was impressive. Local movie theaters, places like that, golf courses, etc. I'm really liking the coverage of this paint. So I finally stopped playing Super Metroid long enough to get back to Metroid Prime.
Mm-hmm. I need to get back on that.
Right? Like I've just been sitting on it for so long. It's a great game, and you know, obviously having never played it before, I'm, you know, it's definitely not the way I would like go out of my way to play Metroid. If given the option, I'm playing 2D Metroid every single time.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a genuinely fun experience, and I finally like. I've been at it for so long, and get so easily distracted by SM that that I finally said, all right, enough of this nonsense. I'm just following a walkthrough for the rest of the game, just to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, could I blunder around and find all the stuff? You know, find the stuff. Yes, of course I can. I've gotten over halfway through the game at this point, just on my own. But I need to be done because I've got other Switch games that I want to play before Switch 2 comes out. And if I just leave myself to my own devices, I'm going to be just playing Metroid Prime for the rest of whatever, and I'll never get to things like Battle Network. And I promised myself after my mistake with Dread that I'm going to play Prime on the projector.
Mm-hmm.
I played Dread entirely in handheld mode, and I've regretted it ever since. So my time to play is significantly limited.
Yeah.
But I'm happy I made that decision. Once again, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, it's like rationing my my weeknights.
Yeah. So I started my new campaign of Arkham Horror today.
Yeah, I saw your deck. I didn't get a chance to comment on it.
Oh. Which one?
The one you were going back and forth with Sammy about.
You have to go look that one up. I'm not sure which one I shared. If it was like my joke deck about Ashcan Pete.
Oh, that's the one I saw.
Lily Chen.
No, it was the Ashcan Pete deck. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't realize that was a joke. I saw it when I was working, so I was like, I don't have time to look at this.
Yeah. No, that one was just being silly about trying to see how many animals I could fit into one deck.
I'm genuinely curious to see that one. Like, even though it was a joke, I want to see it played.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be a way to make it work.
But yeah, I'm playing Lily Chen this time. So.
Oh, she's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. And one of the other players hadn't done Edge of the Earth.
Oh boy.
So that was the one he selected.
I have also not done Edge of the Earth. But
Fun.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And there were penguins.
Yes, I knew there were penguins because my wife pointed that out. She doesn't usually pay much attention when I'm unboxing games, but the penguins caught her eye.
Paint stuck in the cap.
Ugh.
The dropper bottle.
Ugh. So other than the building project,
Yeah.
I'm also currently looking for fishing games for Candace. So, oh, dude. Wasn't there a good one for, like, an actually good fishing game for Super Nintendo? And there might have even been one on NES. One you could throw out there, RPD, would be Oregon Trail 3rd Edition. There was a great fishing minigame in Oregon. Like, actually, genuinely good fishing game in Oregon Trail 3.
I love metal paints.
Right?
It's so much like, okay, yeah, you're skilled if you can do non-metal metal, but they make metal paints. Like I
You know
feel like
what?
non-metal metal is like like an old skill that is kind of obsolete now.
Okay, so I agree with you, but I also disagree. And here's how. Wait a minute. I can show this. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to rifle through my old 40K stuff. I found it recently. Be right back. Need a flashlight. Oh dear. I actually take that back. I thought I had a specific mini at home with me, but I guess it's at the store. The flat... So, metal works great for things that are necessarily metal. Like what you're doing right now. Or Ultron, let's say. But like a Space Marine bolter, I think looks better with non-metal metal. I think it looks more believable that way. I don't know why. Maybe that's just me, but that's how I've always felt. All right, we're gonna put a little bit of dark gray down. What do I have for dark grays? Here we go. Here's one. It might not be dark enough though. No. Right back to the dropper bottles. When it works, right?
Dropper bottles are awesome.
Well, especially when the colors are what you need.
So what's the naming convention for these new paints? You said that they're like 1-to-1 for Citadel paints, but I'm assuming Phoenician purple is
right. Yeah, no, I mean they're pretty obvious parodies, like Troll Slayer orange, which Troll Slayers in lore are like the zealots of the dwarf army. They've named it Booyah Orange. So they're pretty obvious parodies, really.
Mm-hmm.
Things like bilious green became putrid green pus, and it literally means the same thing. Not all of them are like that, but by and large, that is what we're looking at. This is a pretty direct parody.
So kind of like all of the like C-27 minis and other stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of C-27, this Elektra Mini actually is a C-27 Mini. Shout out to them. Awesome work. Over there with primarily Marvel stuff, but also there's some Turtles stuff that just came out that looks really, really beautiful. And we'll probably be seen on the stream at some point when Adam and I get there. Touching her hair up with a little bit of gray. Just give it a little bit of dimension here. It's very dark gray, so it shouldn't detract from the fact that her hair is indeed black.
Oh boy.
What is oh boy? I mean, I know what I did when I said oh boy, but...
No, I'm about to... I'm working on Darth Maul, so that means face paint.
Oh, of course it does.
And, like, I'm trying to do, like, everything, but then it's like, I'm getting to the point where it's like I'm going to have to start actually working on that.
Mm-hmm. You know, Darth Maul, what a freaking cool character wasted on a frankly substandard movie.
Yeah. I mean, he got more development outside of the movie.
He did, but so... Okay, here, RPD, you get your wish. Here's your Zack and Broody argument. I cannot stand the cartoons. And I don't know what it is. They put me the blank to sleep. And it bugs me, you know? Because I want to enjoy them. I want to know what goes on there. But like the dissonance between seeing a character portrayed in live action versus seeing a character portrayed in animation just makes me like feel like it's not connected. It feels disconnected to me. And that bugs me because I really do want to enjoy them. But it also, like, it came out at a time when I didn't have the wherewithal to, or the ability to watch TV, particularly. So, yeah, that was unfortunate, too. So I missed, almost 10 seasons of television that I will probably never go back and watch.
I was about to say 11 if you're counting Clone Wars and Rebels together.
Yeah. I was making a rough estimate. I honestly had no idea.
No. Yeah, I was just for my own personal.
Sure.
Trying to count it up.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not. Like 11 seasons of television is a lot. Like that's the entire run of MASH. That's the entire run of Married with Children. Like. And those are just half-hour comedies, I don't know what the runtime of the Star Wars shows is. Again,
they're all half-hour.
Oh, are they half-hour? Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. But you're looking at roughly the time the time commitment equivalent to watching the entire run of MASH.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot. I've never gotten through it. Like, I love MASH. It's maybe my favorite show on television that's ever been on television. But I've never gotten through the whole show. I'm sure I've watched all of it, but I've never actually gotten through it all. So I had this brainwave on this green rooftop to dry brush it with Elysian green, which is like it's like a camo green. It's the TT Combat equivalent is bright green algae.
Yeah.
And holy crap, this was a good idea. Using a pretty heavy dry brush here because I really want to get the tone right. Again, it's all about contrasting with the red. I have been working my way through Secret Invasion, which has been fine. Not great.
Show?
Huh? Yeah, the
show.
It's. I do have to laugh because my family's watched the Barbie movie a couple of times lately, which is a great film. I strongly recommend it. It hit me right in the feels as a girl dad. But it. The big bad from Secret Invasion is played by one of the Kens, which makes me laugh every time I see him. I'm like, I can't take him seriously as a bad guy because the "I'm Just Ken" song gets stuck in my head immediately. But no, I mean, Secret Invasion is fine. It's not great, but it's mostly harmless, I guess.
hate the space. I did this to myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is very self-inflicted. Oh, RPD, you'll appreciate this. I recently found, well, this was last winter, found a social media personality, I guess is the best way I can put it, that absolutely embodies what it's like to live in the middle of nowhere where I live. He's an Olympic skier. He is actually an Olympic skier, but he is, I guess, retired and now plays a character called Donnie Pelletier, who bills himself as Maine's finest athlete. He is an absolute riot. So yeah, very funny, very, very funny. So Broody, I see a Games and Gears Legends series brush on your desk there.
Uh-huh.
Which very amusing, considering that's what I picked up the Master Series.
Uh-huh.
I have the 0, 00, and 000.
Yeah, I got a set at Gen Con several years back. Or I guess not at Gen Con. I saw them at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Or maybe I saw them at PAX Unplugged. One of them.
I got mine at Gen Con.
So yeah, I have the 12340. That's in Oxhair. I've got a 1, 2, and 3 in synthetic, and then I've got these technical, like vehicle brush, a dry brush, something they call a wakizashi or something.
Yep.
Wakizashi, yeah. Which is pretty much just it's like just a plastic tip.
Yep.
Not an actual like brush. Oh wait, no, never mind. There is one that isn't a plastic tip. This one's like a curved.
Yeah, it's the curved one.
Or not a curved, but angled.
Angled, right? Yeah. Yeah. No, I bought the 3 because I was like, I want to give it a try before I really commit. But it looks they look awesome. Like, I'm happy. I'm still I love these whatever they're called that we've been using with the little grippy bit.
Oh, the Art Deco?
Yeah. Yeah. And these Games and Gears ones are pretty expensive, but I'm excited to try them out. In fact, I'll probably be trying that very soon because I'm about to hand draw graffiti on the wall after I finish up the highlighting here with a little bit of Kislev flesh.
Kislev flesh?
Yeah, it's my noses and knuckles paint. Go to for noses and knuckles. Pretty much no matter what the skin tone. Except, I mean, I guess dark complexion people.
Very well.
What's that?
I was trying to use a red, and like, it didn't mix as well as I would have liked.
Oh, gotcha.
So it was kind of like the medium didn't get all in it, so it's kind of like loose and runny, so it didn't coat very well.
That's fair. That's another thing I'll say for the TT combat paints is the mix is really balanced in the same way as a GW. They don't tend to separate the way that a lot of dropper paints do. Which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, even using the vortex thing didn't quite mix it up as much as I would have liked.
Yeah. Well, now that I'm moving toward...
There we go. That's much better.
What?
That second drop that I just put down was much better.
Oh, good. It's a nice thing about using the wet palette, too, is we can tell before we dive in. All right. One of my least favorite things coming up is makeup.
Yep.
I hate doing makeup. And like oftentimes I'll cop out and try and do it with ink and just like completely ruin it. Pro tip: it's actual consumer advice. Don't use inks to do makeup. It's a trap. It's one of those things that seems like a good idea and just isn't. All right, let's get that red out again. Just use a tiny brush and a little bit of patience, and it'll be fine. That is a dry brush. That's the brush I'm looking for.
What makeup are you adding?
Just lipstick.
Okay. What's worse, lipstick or eyeliner?
Eyeliner is way worse. Got it. It's not perfect, but I'm okay with it. Got some machine flaws here. All right, Elektra herself is pretty much done. I just got to finish up the base. And starting with some form of a light brown. It's not fully full bore tan. or khaki or anything like that. I've also organized my new dropper bottle paints with, by color.
Mm-hmm.
So they're much easier to find. As opposed to my GW paints, which are just everywhere. We'll see how long that lasts. Oh, I did do a cool bit of 3D printing this week, too. I can actually swing the camera and show that. These. I now have I have racks for my SNES controllers that were previously just behind my desk. Nope. Down. There you go. And they just would constantly fall on the floor. I would get mad at them. And now I don't. Now they don't. Which is great. Oh, did you, RPD? Nice. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hello. I found a dry paint that'll work perfectly for what I'm trying to accomplish. If it still works at all. Yes, got it. Okay. River King. Okay, yeah. I've heard of River King. I don't think I've ever played it, but I've heard of it. All right. Now I need reference image. So I said I was going to do Elektra without a reference image. I think I've done that. There she is. What I need a reference image for is graffiti. Because I'm going to put graffiti on the wall there. But I need specifically Chinatown graffiti. Or actually, oh, idea, Broody.
What's up?
Part of me wants to write Hell's Kitchen.
In Chinese or Japanese?
No, just in graffiti.
Ah.
Like graffiti looking art.
That would be good.
Right? Okay. Okay, so I think this is going to be one of those situations where I want to pencil it first. Or maybe I just ball. I don't know. No, I want to pencil it first. Okay. But it's only going to be part of it. So, like, it'll be like... yeah. Okay. All right. I need a pencil. No help. Why can I never find a pencil in this office? You know what? To heck with it. I'm just going for it.
Who's life on the edge?
Yep. Sometimes you just got a ball. All right, so realistically, what's going to happen here is the only people who are going to know what this says without having to ask are the people watching this stream right now. So if you're watching, because it's I'm doing it pretty subtle. It'll be a secret to everybody. Hey now, RPD. Going like that. And then there's like the weird arrow thing. Actually.
Okay, aside from the actual base, the base goes down.
Nice. Alright, so the thing I'm basing this on is a turquoise, which I do have, which is nice. I have it actually in Citadel here. Actually, I don't. Well, I have close. I'm going to add a little blue to it, though. Come on. Oh, dear. Remember what I was saying about Citadel paints and separating?
Yeah.
When they separate hard.
Yeah, they do.
There we go. I got it. This one's fine. Alright. Nice, nice. So let's do... Oh, stop it. Can I do it this way? This is probably a mistake. No, I'm not going to do it that way. That's stupid. Stop being dumb. Stop being dumb, Zach. So I'm actually basing this on real NYC street art, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Touch.
darkest bits are at the top.
Seems counterintuitive.
It's sort of like a galaxy print situation. And then we're going to have a highlight around there. We're going to have to mix a little white in here. That's fine. And by white, I mean Ulthrain Gray, because white sucks.
Doo-doo. Hope this turns out well. So I have like this necromancer cloak. It's like this like just off black,
Mm-hmm.
like really dark gray. I'm using a blue, whatever Dragonhoff's Nightshade to give it some color.
Yeah, such is our way on this show. All right, now what's really going to make this cool, I hope, is fire. Now, fire effect is something I'm very, very familiar with. But drawing it like graffiti is going to be the trick. That said, I'm so far really, really happy with how this graffiti is coming out. Let's start with yellow. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm doing. Let's start here. Hey, Blink, what's up? Kombucha time. Cheers. We're painting graffiti today, but legally. See? A little graffiti on the base. Happy with it. I'm over here painting with 2 dead arms, so. And no, I did not get well.
Yeah, the blue looks good.
Nice. Well, wearing our backwards cap because we're the bad boys from the tough side of town. We are the bad boys from the tough side of town. We are the cool patrol. We'll turn your life around.
Don't get that reference.
Ninja Sex Party.
Okay.
But, no, the reality is I'm wearing my hat today, RPD, because I was taking care of the baby all day and did not have a chance to take a shower / gel my hair out of its way. Nerd music for nerds, as Ness incessantly calls it. Alright, there's that one. Get a couple shades of red in there and we'll call it good. I'm way too happy with how this is coming out. I think this is looking really good. Oh my god.
Oop.
Although I do believe, RPD, there's a new Starbomb record in the works.
Let that wash dry and move on to Savage.
What a pretentious name. Savage.
Savage Opress.
It's even worse. This may not. Yeah, no. I'm gonna go with one more shade of red. Just a little tiny bit of it, though. All right. I am pretty gosh darn happy with how that graffiti came out. onto a dry brush on the tarmac situation, which is... Ooh, hang on. No. Terminatus stone. I gotta dry off my dry brush. That's not it. That is. So I taught Jacqueline how to 3D print while I was out in Indy.
Yeah.
She was pretty happy with that. And I think... So my in-laws are coming into town this week to help watch the baby while my parents are on vacation. They're her normal childcare. And I think that means that I get to spin up my printer on Tuesday. So I don't have to be solo with the baby. I got a few things left to print this year before I have to pack it away. Get that done. So I just hit the... I went over the graffiti with a little bit of Terminatus stone. Just to kind of get some dust over it. Looked like it was a little too fresh. I'm very happy with how that turned out. Close that now. It's gonna be one of the very few minis that I take a picture of from the back, just so I can show that off. That's pretty cool. But base ring, we're out of here. We need a red. She did learning and growing, yeah.
This is super easy.
She did learning and growing.gif. It's actually not learning and growing.gif, which is frustrating. Because I have 4 of them, RPD. I have only one that I can use on stream, but... Oh! RPD, were you around... Someone in Gotham Knights said the phrase "good thinking," and I immediately was like, "Up the room." We've got Tommy Wiseau dialogue. I do love that Elektra's base ring will match Daredevil's.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. I'm going to try and be a little more judicious with the, liberal with the room quote buttons. I think that's going to be a thing.
Savage is super easy because like his entire cloak and everything is mostly just one color.
Mm-hmm.
I like it when that happens.
Oh yeah. I think I may need to turn the printer on and print some more bases, because I'm running low. I print those on my FDM printer.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's just no reason to waste the resin. Unless something's wildly specific, like... trying to think of a good example. And, you know, coming up short. But, like, some characters have very, very specific bases that I will happily print in resin if it's called for. You're still using AMG official stuff, right?
Huh?
You're still mostly using AMG official stuff, right?
For my like Marvel and Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah. I do believe that my Marvel Zombies stuff should be getting here pretty soon. I'm pretty psyched about that. Just for a different perspective on things, you know? Like, we've been painting Crisis Protocol for so long, and I will continue to print at Crisis Protocol scale, even though I don't really play the game. Just because I like painting at this scale. I think that's what it comes down to for me. As much as we've done work on other systems that are at the same scale as Marvel Zombies, and kind of deliberately so, there's something to be said for just enjoying a specific scale. Enjoying the work more at a specific scale.
Yeah.
Alright, I think Elektra is done. Finally. Nice to get her off my desk. And back into the display case where she belongs. Pretty cool mini. Not gonna lie. Well done, C27 on this one. Imagine doing things because you like them. Well, isn't that why we're here, RPD? Elektra, done. Shocking. Should I go get Bullseye? Have him stab her?
Yeah.
This graffiti is so cool. Like, what a fun little touch. Alright, I guess I gotta find someone else to do for the next half hour. Or I could just work on this giant dwarf thing that I've had kicking around for months, years, literally years. No, but that's going to require recalibrating the camera and stuff too. Ooh, my back. There it is. All right, let's find another mini.
Ugh. This smoke trail around his leg makes it hard to get some light and see what I'm doing down here.
In an effort to create some room in my box, in my display case, Colossus is up. He's easy. He's mostly metal. I have to zoom my camera out because he's a big model. And yeah, this seems reasonable. And I get to paint some Sentinel parts, but that's, next week.
Oh, you've got the official one?
Yeah, I do. This is actual AMG Colossus. And I want his first appearance in comics, so Google. Unfortunately, AMG did not sculpt him in such a way that to represent his first appearance, but that's fine. We're still going to paint him that way.
But most of the AMG stuff seems to be like Jim Lee's 90s design.
Well, that or the Grant Morrison garbage. Here's a... Okay. Can make that happen. Okay. All right. We can run with this. All right. This is fine. Yeah, it does look like his, clothing is more... Well, it's clothing. Clothing over his metal skin. So, okay. Yeah, we're good. I think. Giant size X-Men #1. This is his first appearance. Yeah, okay, great. Oh, this is going to be fun on a bun. Okay. Oh my god, am I going to... Ooh, can I employ color shift paint on this? I might be able to. We'll see. We'll burn that bridge when we cross it, but... okay, so you're going to get down the red and the yellow and the silver tonight. Okay, let's go. Let me get these dry brushes out of the way. Because I don't need them anymore. We're not doing that anymore tonight. Before we went live, I was laughing to myself about the fact that no matter how early a start I get, we always seem to start this show a couple minutes late. Now, we were close today. It was it was like 10:02 when we hit the go live button, but it was making me laugh.
I mean, between my mic problems and
my camera problems, it's got to be one of the two of us, right?
Mm-hmm. So I've been on Saturdays. I've been going to my local game shop.
Okay, that's always a good thing.
Yep. I've been trying to start up a Marvel Champions group.
Nice.
Playthrough. We've been playing the Next Evolution campaign.
Right on. Where did you and Chamali and I leave off?
We were still working on Mojo.
Mojo World. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. So go on. Go continue.
Cable is awesome.
Nice. That's good to hear.
And Domino's pretty awesome also.
That I'm excited about. I'm excited to see Domino in action.
I was hoping that Angel and Psylocke both came out Friday.
Okay.
But my shop did not get them in right away, so I did not get a chance to see them.
Right. Huh.
But Cable has this new mechanic that he adds in player side schemes.
Oh, weird.
So you're allowed to have like one in play at a time, two if you're playing 3 or 4 player. And it'll have its threat and everything like normal. But when you defeat it, it'll like give you another bonus.
Okay.
So like he has one signature ability that's like one of his like identity cards.
Yeah.
That's the Technovirus Purge.
Okay.
And when you defeat it, it has victory, so it goes into the victory display, and while it's in the victory display, Cable gets +1 to all of his stats.
Oh, damn!
Yeah.
That's very strong.
+1 attack, forward, and defense.
Oh
so that puts him at 3s across the board.
That's so cool.
But then some of the other ones are like, search your deck and discard pile for an ally and put it into play. Or get a tough status card.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And he has lots of cards that'll be like, do X plus the number of side schemes in the victory display. So you can boost your attacks and thwarts and all that good stuff.
That's awesome. Cable's always been one of those characters to me that I'm just like, I love this character, but I can't tell you one like memorable one specifically memorable moment that I've like that in which I made a connection with him. Like, name any other character that I'm fond of, and I can tell you exactly what comic was like the one. Cable's just like, he's so cool that and in that quintessentially 90s way that it's impossible to pin down exactly what thing he did or what interaction I had as a reader with that character made him cool in my mind.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it was for me, though.
Go on.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Okay, fair.
He definitely is probably one of the most 90s superheroes out there, though.
Oh, without a doubt. He was a Liefeld creation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You will find this particular show very chock-a-block full of Rob Liefeld apologists, because the guy's a damn good artist. Has he made some mistakes? Yes. Hasn't every artist ever? Like, they're human too. No. I think I've said it before, but Liefeld to me has a place, but believes his style a lot more flexible than it actually is. Maybe. Granted, I guess the comics I read tend to be right in his wheelhouse. Like, he did a cover on Daredevil recently that like was absolutely beautiful. Granted, you know, it was a Deadpool Daredevil crossover cover. It wasn't at all like Kevin Eastman's recent Daredevil, which was just insanely cool. Very distractible tonight. I think I have that right here. Yeah, I do. This cover is just so cool. Had to buy it. I'm not even subscribed to Daredevil floppies anymore. I just get the trades, but that one was too good not to have. Right? RPD. Sorry.
So I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I must say I'm a fan of washes.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of, like right now I'm working on Savage. And I use the same color for Savage's skin that I'm going to use for the smoke that I use also for Darth Maul's like undergarments.
Yeah.
Not undergarments, but like underlayer or whatever you want to call it. Like the pants and tunic that he has underneath his cloak.
Mm-hmm. I feel like in some respects washes are like the logical precursor to speed paints or contrast paints.
Yeah.
They do largely the same thing, especially the way you and I use them. But I guess there's just more pigment in a contrast or speed paint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just doing the same color, but like adding a brown wash to Darth Maul makes his look more like khaki.
Right.
And adding like a green to the smoke makes it look different than adding like a sepia to the skin for Savage.
Right. Makes us look more tacky, and you know because I'm tacky. He said khaki, RPD. No, it's fine. It just made me laugh. So it was funny that when I busted out Colossus, you mentioned that this is, in fact, the official AMG. Colossus. I do believe the C-27 Colossus is also holding Sentinel parts.
Ah,
I could be wrong. They also did the a Colossus Juggernaut hybrid thing. It's like the Unstoppable Colossus or something like that, and I was like, this is stupid.
like the Fear itself or whatever.
Yeah.
That series was really,
It was pushing it.
yeah.
Yet one more of those Marvel attempt to get you to buy everything in our line mistakes.
Yeah, Marvel was really bad about that for like that decade of like just one event after another after another after another.
Well, I told you, right, that whoops. Mark Millar said that Civil War wasn't even supposed to be like, it was supposed to be a non-canonical limited series.
Uh-huh.
I was like, whoa. That's editorial garbage if ever I've seen it.
Yeah. Also, like, I call bullshit on language, sorry. Like, you get behind the behind the scenes and, like, I forget who was all doing it at the time, but it's like, we've been, like, planning X events since Avengers Disassembled, like, 10 years ago. And they just kept adding it, so it's like, oh, Avengers Disassembled, okay. House of M, okay. I forget the order that all of it happened in. It's like Secret Invasion, Dark
Right.
Reign. It's like they keep saying that they like had planned everything since before Disassembled, and it's just like I don't buy that at all.
No. No, that's completely made up and baloney. We've been planning everything since 5 minutes ago, says RPD, and that's more accurate, I would say.
Oh, face.
Oh, no, I don't want Spotlight Yellow, but I don't want Capri Sunshine Yellow either. Oh, man. Now I have to fight with Averland Sunset.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, I hate this paint. Come on, tabletop combat. You need to release a better yellow.
It's one of the worst colors to paint with.
I would argue that yellow and white are the worst.
Yeah, those are definitely the two.
Right down the middle. And of course, since it's Marvel, those are two colors that show up all the time because they love
Yellow and
making
white.
our lives miserable. Yep. Now, in his first appearance, Colossus had... And I'm going to have to freehand this. Triangular, like, indentations, almost, on his boots. So I'm going to freehand these. That's going to be fine. Go. Happy with that. My God, I just said I'm happy with the way yellow came out. Have I run out of miniatures to paint? Am I dead? Yeah. Sorry, RPD, just getting that message now. It's a good one. It's astonishing how far we've come since, like, when we first started this show, and I was, all in on the Citadel method, right? Like,
Yeah.
I would even switch brushes to a layer, small layer brush or whatever. And it's like,
yeah,
that's totally dumb. Like, you don't need to do that. It's all about bristle size, not brush density or whatever. It's not the size of the brush that matters.
Yes, that is true.
Oh, yeah. There. Nice. Alright, now I need to go to small brush because otherwise this is not going to end well.
The size of the brush does matter.
Yes, in this case the size of the brush definitely does matter. No, I'm not going to. I don't want to go all the way down. Boy, that's a startling transition to go from Metroid Prime music to Sonic 2.
Yeah, that is pretty jarring, I bet. Okay.
I'm just about done here.
I was about to say base coat's done on Sauvage.
Nice. So yeah, that's as soon as I get this yellow band done, we'll call it a night.
That.
All right, that's good enough for now. Definitely some work still to be done, but I'm all right with it. This is gonna be a fun one. I'm actually excited about this mini. Gonna be some cool color shift stuff and whatnot involved. So stay tuned for that next week. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Watching paint dry is much more fun with people chit-chatting and hanging out. But Broody, of course, I can't do this without you, man. This is the best. I love hanging out with you every week, man.
Yep, I enjoy it also. It's a good way to relax after a long week. So
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, I will be back on the show or on Monday for my other show, Zach Sucks at Games. Should be live about 8 o'clock Eastern time. I say about because it all depends on how quickly my daughter goes down to bed and how quickly I can get dinner on the table. So we'll see you then. And Broody and I will be back next week, finishing or doing more of this. So be well, be safe, take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
see ya.